Good morning, Suzanne. Good morning, Dia.
And helps them spot. And then the only kicker to that was I couldn't get her contact information, but she had me type all of her stuff in her notes and it already pulled up my website while we were talking to her. So I think there's a lot of promise there. And then the other gentleman we met, he coaches football, like American football for youth, and actually played football at a college in California. And but he's Mexican. He just went there for college and came back. And he gave us his email address, and he's like, if you come back to Mexico, I want to see you again. And we really connected over youth and how we like to work with youth. So I'm excited to be able to build some relationship. And then another staff member, her name is Dora. She sent me a friend request on Facebook yesterday. We gave her samples as a gift because she was so sweet to us while we were there at the resort. And I could have like adopted her and brought her home, but like another daughter. But anyway, so that was really exciting to be able to connect. So we'll see where that goes. Young and spunky and doesn't know a stranger. So I look forward to developing that relationship. Yeah, it was awesome.
Awesome. Just goes to prove we can do this business anywhere. In fact, I've been thinking about that lately when we are talking with Deb Erickson about finding our avatar, our ideal customer, our ideal business builder. When we're thinking about that and we ask ourselves, where would they be hanging out? I want you to ask yourself that question. Where would your ideal business partner be hanging out? And what would they be doing? And how would I meet them? And honestly, the thought came to me, vacationing. The thought came to me, you know what, if I'm out vacationing and really enjoying myself and enjoying the time freedom that I have in this business, that we talk about anyway, do we really live it? And sometimes there's circumstances in our lives where I've got 5 children. You know, I'm busy running here and there with my boys. But it's an interesting question to ask that, you know what, it's almost easier to share when we're on vacation, isn't it, Dana?
Oh yeah,
I was in the car from 2 to 7 running boys here, there, and everywhere. You know, it's kind of an interesting perspective, and so we can do this business anywhere. And so it's really fun to open our mouths and share from the heart. And I would venture to say that when we are recreating, our confidence level is probably higher than when we're working through the grind of life. Okay, and so it's really nice perspective to say, okay, where would my ideal business partner be hanging out? How might I find them? Where would I be? Where would they be? And so find yourself, and I promise your ideal business partner is probably not in the walls of your home. So you've got to get out. Now you can connect through social media, but honestly, that person-to-person, face-to-face is a better connection. And so we got to be out in the community. In fact, I have a health fair tomorrow that I was invited to participate in. And I have been trying really hard to figure out how I can get there because our day is so busy tomorrow. And my husband's working and my oldest son is working. And I only have myself driving my boys where they need to get to. And so honestly, I reached out to her and I said, is there any way that I could participate for 2 hours instead of the entire day? And she said, sure. And that's my plan. I'm going to participate for 2 hours instead of the entire day. Since the answer is either no, I can't participate, or reaching out there and say, hey, can I break the mold of this all-day health fair and just do 2 hours? And so we do what we can do. And so I just really felt compelled that I needed to be out there. I needed to put myself out there and meet more people. Okay, very good. Who else wants to share? What's working well in your business and what needs to be working better?
I can share.
Please do, Elena.
So I just did I was supposed to do a class, but my neighbor just showed up, which was fine because in the inviting process, I found out what times work better. So, and I found out who really is interested. And they're, because I don't know if you've ever had the experience where you don't hear from somebody after you invite them a couple times. So I just said to one girl, I'm like, I just feel like she really was interested, so I don't understand why she's not getting back to me. So she, I just texted her to say, you know, Marilee, like, please let me know. I don't want to bug you. You know, let me know if you want me to keep you updated on the classes and what interests you and stuff, and tell me what interests you. And she's like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I'm so interested. And, you know, anyway, so that was helpful for me to hear that. And so we figured out just a better time. And now I have a green cleaning class planned. But, so yeah, I think things are, and then this other lady, actually, because every time I invited her, she said, no, thanks. And then I saw her at the park. I'm like, hey, so what's your experience with essential oils? Is that something that you're just not into? And she's like, no, I'm not against it. I'm like, really? you said no thanks? You know, so you just never know what people mean by their quick comment to your text or non-responsiveness. So I think, sorry, it's loud. So I think what I found out is just ask. Don't be scared. Don't be scared of people's quick response. They're just probably busy and tired, and just, you know, just really ask, you know, is this something that you're really interested in? I don't want to keep bugging you, or I thought, you know, anyway, and you'll get, yeah. So that was my
I took my boys to the orthodontist on, I don't know, Wednesday. And I walked in with my past tense. I actually had a lot of stress and tension in my shoulder and my neck right here. And so I walked in with my past tense, and as we're signing in, I'm putting my past tense on my neck. And you know how I've talked to you about using your oils in public, right? So I'm putting my past tense on my neck, and they're saying, oh, that smells really good. What oil are you using? And I said, past tense. And they go, what? And I said, past tense. And she goes, oh, I haven't heard of that one. And I said, you seriously have not heard of past tense? And I handed it to her, and I said, here, try it. And it was an interesting conversation because Kim said to me, now I've been working with this orthodontist for all 5 boys. Probably her oldest daughter is 12. And I remember when she was pregnant with her first baby. And so I would venture to say at least 12 or 13 years I've been working with this orthodontist. And so at any rate, Kim said to me, oh, I don't use oils. And I said, you don't use oils? Why? Well, then they called us back. So I said, we'll carry on later. So then I had both of my boys were worked on, and then I came back out to the desk, and I said, so, and she was having a conversation with another mother. And I said, are you sharing pictures of your children? And she said, no, I'm sharing pictures of our trip to Las Vegas. We went to this restaurant called Heart Attack, and they were spanking the people that didn't finish their plates. And she had a video of it. Anyway, so she shared it with me too. Anyway, it led to a conversation, you know, that form H that we learned at base camp. When you carry on a conversation, talk about their family, their occupation, their recreation, their money will just come up and health will just come up. But anyway, I asked her about this. And so then I said, how old are your children anyway? I said, I'm afraid to ask. And when she told me her oldest daughter was 12, I was like, we haven't been coming here that long, have we? And she said, well, apparently so, because I remember you talking to me when I was pregnant with my daughter. Well, then she started talking about how her daughter's 12 years old. She had to pick her up from school the day before because she had been on her period and had leaked through her clothing and needed a clothing change. And she talked about fighting with her the week before her period starts. And I was like, oh my gosh, Kim, you need some oils. Why don't you use oils? And she said, I don't know. I guess I just don't know enough. That is the truth. They say no until they know more, right? So I've got an appointment to meet with Kim on Tuesday, this next week. And I've been going there for 13 years. Why hasn't this come up before? And so it's when we put ourselves out there, when we get out of the walls of our home, we do meet those people, but also the mindset, right? We're all looking for our avatar. We're all looking for our ideal business partner, our ideal customer. And so we got to put it out there, and we've got to be in that confident zone that Deb has been talking about, so that when we open our mouths or pick up the phone, we're in our confident zone. On a scale of 1 to 10, we're at a 10. And we need to work to get there each and every day before we talk to people. Okay, who else wants to share what's going well in your business and what needs to be going better? What are your wins?
I think I can talk now. we had just a couple things happening, so hopefully it's a quiet moment. This is Dia. So I had actually a couple really cool wins. I have two aunts that live in Southern California, and they, I've been gifting them stuff for Christmas like every single year, like since I've been involved with doTERRA. And years ago, I talked to them about, the potential of membership and the benefits of it, and really got like, no, thank you, kind of thing. And so I continued to, but they liked the oils. They were buying them from me. They were buying them retail. And, I was just like, okay, they had wanted me to get some oils for them. And I was coming through on an layover back from Puerto Vallarta. So I was in Mexico too. I was giving them, bringing some oils to them, and I really wanted to have another conversation. And I was staying with one of my aunts and uncles near Marina Del Rey. And so I was like, okay, well, how can I present this? How can I have this conversation to at least, like just let her know, like, hey, this is an option for you, but really kind of not be attached to the outcome of it. Because it's a relationship that's important to me, and I don't want to step on any toes. But basically, I just outlined it for her and showed her kind of the visual, just of like, hey, she wanted to know how much it was, and I was like, okay, well, these kind of are your choices. You can pay wholesale, you can, you can pay the retail price, or you can pay the wholesale price. And this is kind of all the perks of membership, kind of talked to her about it again, and then just showed her the difference between the two. I said, for this going forward, you're paying like $15 or 10, in her case, it was like $10 more to have the wholesale account, versus paying the retail price. But I was like, but everything that you purchase going forward, you'll be buying at the, wholesale pricing. So anyhow, she was like, okay, yeah, let's do it. And then I had been talking to her about some other products that she wants to try as well. So she was open, she was ready, the time was right. So I was happy that I was nervous, just to revisit that conversation after I had already kind of been told no. But and then I also, my other aunt was like, okay, how much do I owe you? She was just going to Venmo me. And I was like, okay. I told my husband, like, this is, I think, last night or the night before. And I was like, okay, how can I keep this like super, like duper simple, like not complicated? Cause I tend to like be really wordy. And I was like, I don't want to complicate it, like make it as easy for her as possible. And so he helped me with the wording of what to say. And she said yes. And so I now have 2 enrollments from both of my aunts. So that was pretty awesome. So that's my win. I think my challenge is in that, right, is because is making sure that the next steps going forward are clear to them, and kind of, outlined, that we can like create, create the time to have a conversation and do everything that I would normally do with another client, even though they're, family members. So I'd say that's kind of the challenge that the next thing I have to kind of work through, and hopefully that will be successful, and I'll get them dialed into everything so that they can continue to learn, because they do want to learn. They've had the experiences and know that the oils that I've given them have worked and helped them, because they're, they've been buying them for me for, at least a couple years now. So yeah, that's my win.
Way to go, Dia. You said something there as you were talking. You used the phrase, I didn't want to step on toes. And I want to talk about that for just a minute. What did you mean by that? I didn't want to step on toes.
Well, I think that, especially when somebody said no, right? Or they said, no, thank you, I'm not interested, I'll just buy them from you, like I'm not interested in that, because I think that they have some preconceived notion about what that means, whether they're thinking, and I think that people have some kind of, blockage around what it is that you're saying to them. And they really, the truth is that they need more information, and sometimes it's just not the right time for people to be open to hearing what you have to say, and, understanding what the benefits of having their own account are. But Yeah, I mean, I think that's fear. I mean, it's fear. It's fear of not knowing how somebody's going to respond or what they're going to say, and fear of like being rejected again, and having, feeling awkward, you know. So I don't know if I nailed it on that, but it's fear.
It is fair. And so when Deb Erickson says we're looking for the ready, willing, and able, we are looking for the ready, willing, and able. But what does it say about confidence level if we're concerned about stepping on toes? Where on a scale of 1 to 10, Dia, where do you think your confidence level is?
I'd say, I mean, in those situations with revisiting things like that, I'm nervous, still. But I had to come to that place where it was like, it wasn't about me, and that helped me, that, hey, this is like you're the messenger. Like, this is an option that you have, like, that it's for their benefit, and that it's not about me and I'm out of the picture. And that helps me to not be nervous or not be concerned about what they're going to say. It's like, well, I don't really care what they say. I mean, I do, right? But like, I'm detached from that outcome. And when I'm in that space, then I can come through and be authentic, and I can be myself, and just, and I think that then comes through, the confidence that I do have in knowing, like, these products work, like, this is really what's going to be best for you going forward, so that you can continue your education, so you can continue to, get your oils at the best price, and be able to have that opportunity to talk about, the loyalty rewards program, and, helping them to, kind of dial in, like, more of that. And that to me is the challenge, or the next thing that I have to do is, being able to have that conversation in a way that feels very authentic, and I'm very confident in that space, and in the next step, in the next conversation, because they said yes. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Who is, well, you've all got your videos on instead of you've not got your videos on. So I'm seeing faces, except for with Sue and Dana. Tell me, how many of you are taking Deb Erickson's mindset training to sell and recruit? Put a thumbs up or just speak up for a second. How many of you are taking that training? Okay, you are, Dana.
Yep.
And I'm taking that. And I believe Elena is.
I am. Dia is.
Okay. And I'm pretty sure Ben and Julie, I think Ben had to jump off. But when we're taking that training, she's given us some neuro tools, some brain tools to really step up our confidence, right? And so a really simple one to step up our confidence I want to share today is the finger roll. I can, I will, I am, yes. I can, I will, I am, yes. And then she said, snap your fingers and say, you got to make it happen that fast. You got a 3 to 5 second window to make it happen that fast. I can, I will, I am, yes. I can, I will, I am, yes. And soon we can just snap our fingers, and that's going through our mind, and we can create a really rapid neurotube. So before we pick up that phone, before we interact with somebody, we've got to, I can, I will, I am, yes. My message is important. Everybody needs to hear this. I've had a real aha lately. I've had several ahas, actually, that I was going to share with you today. But one of my ahas, as I have the Facebook page, Creating a Healer in Every Home, it's been brought to my attention that I've been trying to be the healer in every home instead of creating the healer in every home. And so I'm going to make some changes here as I'm going forward, so that I'm not trying to be the healer in everybody's home, but that I put it out there for the offering. I want to support them really closely for at least 90 days. I did this with an enrollment yesterday. He said, well, what am I going to do when these oils come? And I said, Greg, if you will stick really close, this is my husband's voice teacher, and my husband's been going to him for probably 2 years or more, with my son having voice lessons before then, probably 3, maybe 3.5 years, actually. We've known Greg. And my husband's talked many times about the oils, and finally he was ready for an appointment. And I sat down with him probably a year ago, and he wasn't ready. And yesterday he was ready. And so at any rate, when I sat down and he said, what am I going to do with these oils? And I said, Greg, if you'll stick really closely to me for the next 90 days, I will help you become a healer in your own home. I used that. And so then I ended up leaving my Modern Essentials book with him for him to go through the bioscan that I did on him yesterday. I don't like to start with a bioscan, but my husband had already brought it up in previous conversations. So he was wanting
Matias!
that.
Matias!
But at any rate, so it was an interesting conversation for him to say, what am I going to do? And so I've realized that I've been trying to be the healer in everybody's home. And that's not what I wanted to create. So I'm getting back on track. So with that in mind, what can I do? What can we do to help those we serve learn how to be as comfortable and confident using their oils as we all are? And I venture to say that everyone else on this call is very comfortable and confident reaching for our oils and doTERRA's products first before having to reach outside of that box. And I'll be really frank with you. In 9 years, I haven't needed to reach outside of that box. And there's peace of mind and a level of confidence that comes. I don't know. All I can say is peace. There's just a level of peace that comes from knowing I have at my fingertips what I need to manage our health and wellness concerns and manage a lot of other concerns because we really haven't needed to step outside of that box. And so at any rate, it was a really fun conversation. But I said to Greg, I'm going to call you tomorrow on my way home. I've got to go to Ogden today. I'm going to call you tomorrow on my way home. And good morning, Jen. It's good to have you on here. And ask you or answer your questions about the bioscan because he was going to look through all that email that I sent him and look through the Modern Essentials book and look through those oils that we had talked about. And so I'm going to call him today. And then I said, and Monday when Jay gets your products to you, he said, well, can Jay bring them to me on Monday? So Jay offered to pick them up at doTERRA. Now we live 20 minutes away and it's about 3 minutes from Jay's work. So he picked them up this morning. That's not the usual opportunity when you're living outside of this state, okay? But at any rate, that was our circumstance. And so Greg says, can Jay bring them to me on Monday morning? And I said, yes, and I will meet with you after your voice lessons, either late Monday morning or early afternoon. So I set an appointment for 1 o'clock, and he said, text me, and I'll see if I can get you in sooner. And so at any rate, stick with me. Every time we have an interaction with somebody, we've got to make the next appointment and the next appointment. So I've got today's phone call. I've got Monday's appointment. And on Monday, I will set the next appointment. Monday, I will go through the Live Guide. And I will set the next appointment to go through the Share Guide because Greg is retired. He gets only Social Security. And he kept reminding me yesterday saying, I only live on Social Security and what I make from voice lessons. I can't afford everything right now. And so he made it known to me that this was his circumstance. And he's done MLM before. So I'm going to go through the Share Guide, and I'm going to go through the Build Guide, and I'm going to go through these guides. And so make the next appointment. Every interaction, you need to have another appointment. So deal with your aunt, you need to have the next appointment, and the next appointment, and the next appointment. And each appointment builds upon itself, whether you're going through the guides or whether you're educating. I was doing this with a bunch of ladies that enrolled last month and meeting with them on a weekly basis. They were so excited to have another class to learn more. Not everybody wants that next class, but a good majority want to know how to use their oils. And so when you create the next opportunity for interaction, that's what you want to do. And so, okay, with that in mind, I want to bring up here, let me find out on my, okay, hang on. I want to share when we went to base camp, we learned such great stuff. And Elena brought this up in a phone call. Can you see my screen here? And it's a slide because the windows in the classroom made it so these slides were not clear and succinct. But at any rate, you can hopefully see this. Okay. So one of the speakers we had at base camp, can you all see that? Just give me a thumbs up. Sue, can you see that? Okay. One of the speakers at base camp talked about the fact that she got to a point in her business where her business was running her rather than she running our business. And I'm sure there's moments when we feel that way, where our business is running us and we feel like we're running like a chicken with our head cut off and we don't have time to even gather our breath, okay? And we don't want to create that with this business. This business needs to flow with ease, and that's what we want to create. And so this is what she started doing to make it flow with ease. And I want to bring this before you all and get your feedback on it for a minute, okay? What are your thoughts on our Wellness Wednesday classes looking more like this? Where we have on the first one, now you have your oils. We're going to do a live guide or a lifestyle overview on the first week. We're going to do a natural solutions class, and we can change the order of this. We're going to do a natural solutions class so you can bring your people that can't get to your class physically. There's always going to be a monthly natural solutions class where we can go through the information with them and help them get enrolled. And then we'll have a monthly Q&A where they come to the table with questions for specific health goals and concerns that they're having, and we help them find solutions by opening our resources, our resource books, guiding them through it, making their own decisions, asking questions so that they can actually come to their own conclusions, and then having one specialty class a month. I want your feedback on this, and so I want you to open up your lines here and give me some feedback on this, because what I'm realizing is that I, Debbie Gordon, spend a great deal of time prepping for these Wellness Wednesday classes. I work with my administrative assistant, and she mostly helps me do the PowerPoints. She at least gets the PowerPoints started, and then I typically add to them. But at any rate, I've spent a lot of hours doing that, and I really would rather be talking to people and building my team. And so I need to be building just like you are building. I don't need to be in management role, and that's been brought to my attention a great deal, actually by my account manager. He said, Debbie, you've been in management role now for too long. You need to get back into the field. And that is true. So if I'm not enrolling every single month, which I do enroll every single month, but I'm not enrolling the numbers that I'd really like to in order to become a founder in the Prime Wellness Club. And so I really want to step it up. And when I talked with my account manager here recently, he said, Debbie, you've been in management role, and he's absolutely dead on. And so here's what I want to keep you out of is management role. So I want your feedback on this. I did. And moving forward, now in May, I've already put it out there that I'm going to spend the entire month of May, every Wednesday class, I'm going to be talking about essential oils in pregnancy, childbirth, the newborn, postpartum. This first week in May, I'm going to talk about the Lifelong Vitality Pack as a great supplement during pregnancy and for anyone, including our older children. And so that's what this first Wednesday is going to be on. But then I've broken it down into essential oils in pregnancy and for those wanting to get pregnant. The third week will be essential oils in labor and birth. The fourth week will be essential oils in the newborn, and I'll go into infants as well that first year. And then the fourth week will be on essential oils in postpartum. And I'd love to have you get people to this class. The registration events are already on my Creating a Healer in Every Home page. Look for them, register for them, share the registrations with your friends and family, and get them on these classes. But I want your feedback, so I'm going to stop talking and let you share.
Debbie, can you repeat what the first Wednesday class is? It on Lifelong Vitality Pack?
That is correct, Elena.
And on something else, or just Lifelong Vitality?
It's Lifelong Vitality Pack.
Oh, awesome. So that's the first.
You know what, now that you say that, Elena, I can't imagine myself not talking about the other supplements. So yes, I will be talking about Lifelong Vitality Pack and the other supplements. I definitely recommend Terrazyme and DDR Prime and
yeah, because I have quite a few people we've been talking about Lifelong Vitality. So that would be a great class. I'll invite some people to that.
Very good.
But did you ask for a comment about, yeah, and I love that idea because I think we want new people, but then we need, and if we all take turns teaching the natural solutions class once a month, then we could also give feedback, right, to each other, like constructive feedback.
Yes, this could very well be a fabulous practice for those of us getting started teaching. So look at these classes, and anybody and everybody could do these first 3 weeks. We're all doing lifestyle overviews with the Live Guide, right? Anybody could teach that class. I've got my oils, now what? Now, if they come to the table with questions about the oils they received, we can guide them in using them for their specific health goals and concerns. So we might be doing a little wellness consult depending on who comes to the class. Are we all doing wellness consults? We're all helping to find solutions for their specific goals and concerns, so we're all doing that. We're all teaching a basic natural solutions class. And then if we pull out our resource books and they have specific questions and we can look it up in a resource book, we can help them find solutions. And in the process of doing so, we can teach them how to find their own solutions, and we can guide them on getting in their hands the resource books they need in order to do that. So I think these first 3 weeks could be rotated between all of us. Anyone willing to do it, okay?
I can take the June one. I'd be happy to do that natural solutions class.
Okay. So do you like this order, or do you want to switch up the order? Because it will go.
Yeah, I don't think I think that's a great order. The only thing is with the promotions, I guess, yeah, I think that works great because you would mention them anyway,
Right.
probably at the end, if, because we're going to go through the kits every time too, right? So, I think what we need to assume it's somebody's there for the first time, every time, and we can't like talk about it like, oh, you all know. We do have to teach it like it's a class for people who've never been there,
Right.
That's the idea. Yeah, and then we can mention that month's promotion, so that'll work great.
Very good.
And Debbie too, I think the way that those are set up is that potentially if those first 2 classes are within, at least particularly for the I have oils, is these are people who have already enrolled. They could be potentially in their first, month where they can do an LRP. That gives us an opportunity to also hear it from somebody else. You know what I mean? That they have a chance to, okay, we've already talked to them about it, but then it's kind of like a reiteration of like the loyalty program, you know what I mean? And that way, if they want to, they can set it up before the 15th. So I think at that part, it's good for the order, that coincides with before the 15th of the month.
Very good. Good feedback. Dana, what are your thoughts?
I like the idea because I struggle sometimes. We're really rural here, so me putting on the miles to get to people sometimes is challenging. Although I have to say technology here can be challenging as well.
Yeah.
So I think it has definite advantages. I've done several FaceTime meetings with like the 20 things, and that's like super easy to do. So I love that. And then like I could help do some summer stuff. Wednesday nights during the school year, I'm out, but during the summer, I definitely will help teach.
Awesome. That'd be awesome. So, okay. Then with your, Sue, what do you think? You're brand new. Not really brand new, but what are your thoughts on this, Sue? I think she's frozen. Jen, are you on here still? Could you pipe in here?
Hey, yeah, I think that this is a great idea. We were just talking, me and Dawn were volunteering at a temple here in Arizona, and there was someone from a different line who was saying that she just doesn't have time to go to meetings. And so I think by doing things like this, for those people who are new, like was mentioned before, we always have to make sure we're talking to a new person. But I also think that I'm finding so many people who have had oils for 4 years in their house and just need that boost of doing something again. And sitting down, having a little snack in the evening or whatever, and then watching this, I think would be, I've been trying to encourage people to do that as taking time for themselves to do a little education and then boost them in their oil education.
Very good. Very good. Thanks, Jen, for that feedback. Sue, do you have any thoughts? Oh, I can't hear you at all.
Oh.
There, I've got you unmuted. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Wednesday nights seem to be our only night for holding meetings ourselves. And so what time do you usually do these?
These are at 7:30 Mountain Daylight Time. So that's the same time in Wyoming.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my only concern is trying to keep Wednesday nights open for them.
I appreciate that, Sue, because my husband came to me. Now, those of you who know that I've been doing this business for 9 years, My husband's been a great background support. He's never done the business with me. And just this last week, when he recognizes, I have told him numerous times, I need your help. And this last week, he said to me, Debbie, if we can come up with the same night every week that we could go out and do appointments together, I'll do this with you. And I was like jumping on it, right? But guess what his night is? His night is Wednesday night.
Yeah.
He works every other Wednesday. He works a half shift from 9 to 3. And the other Wednesday he has off. And so he rotates. And I said, how about every other Thursday night? He said, no, it has to be every week because I've been preaching consistency, right? And he hears me preaching consistency. And he says, it has to be every week. And so, if you will help me do these classes, everybody, I can actually go with my husband and have appointments. So I appreciate that, Sue. So Wednesday night's your night for classes. This is not going to be your night to teach an online class, but you can certainly send those people to it that can't make it to your class physically. They can get online and they've got a place to come.
Can I say one thing, Debbie? I do have a concern if just that person who's teaching is there, because the strength of an online class is that you have other people there. What if you know what I mean? So I do have a little concern. Have you thought about changing the night or?
Yeah,
because I do feel like if you're not there, and then that's kind of the mentality that we have. Oh, I'm not teaching. I don't need to be there. You know what I mean? Like that doesn't create a good
So let's talk about
community.
another night. Let's talk about another night. Okay. Tuesday is out for me. Tuesday is a nightmare night. I am in the car from 2 to 7 every Tuesday night, every Tuesday afternoon and night. That's my boys' busyness night with all their activities. So let's talk about another. Wellness Wednesdays have a nice wrap. I've been teaching hypnobirthing on Wednesday nights for all these many years, and I've gone to Thursday nights in order to maintain Wellness Wednesday nights. So give me some other suggestions of another night.
Well, statistically, what they said, right, that Tuesday, Thursday are the best nights for attendance.
Thursday, yeah. Depending on your communities. Yeah.
I could do Tuesday. I mean, I could work around my schedule. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday works for me.
So you could do either one of those nights.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I could.
Dana, you're pretty much Tuesday, Wednesday out, so Thursday would be a better night for you. Dia, what's your thought?
Well, our schedule is going to be changing coming forward, but as of right now, Wednesdays are a little bit challenging. But I kind of like the idea of having it. Hey, Ellis. Sorry. I'll be right back.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
Jen, what would work for you?
I am glad it was mentioned. Wednesday nights here, we have a youth group. So I'm finding moms will drop their kids off at the youth group, come over to my house, hang out, talk, make something, and then go pick them up. And so I've been having a heck of a time with Wednesdays too. Tuesdays or Thursdays work great for me.
Okay, we may need to change it then.
Well, Debbie, this is what I was trying to say is that if we had because sometimes people it's tough, whatever, it's like a Wednesday or a Tuesday or Thursday is just always and never going to work for them. But what she has here is it looks like she's got, a couple different options during the week. So it's not always the same day of the week. So that's just a suggestion, a possibility of okay, maybe this one's on a Wednesday, but this one, the second week is on a Thursday. You know what I mean? I don't know.
That's a possibility that I didn't even think about. And if we did it Tuesday nights at 7:30, I would be rushed, honestly, to get there on time every week. But I could probably make that happen on Tuesday nights at 7:30. It could have been earlier. Yeah, go ahead, Jen.
Maybe on those nights, you could do a Tuesday, Thursday, or something to that effect. But maybe on those nights when you're rushed, somebody else is teaching, and all you have to do is show up.
Yep. So okay, so what would we call it? Instead of Wellness Wednesday, what would we call it?
Wellness Day?
Or wellness education?
Okay, we would just take out the day of the week, right?
What about like oil lifestyle?
Well, we're kind of doing, one of them is an oil lifestyle review, but
Mm-hmm.
so, I mean, it could just be wellness education. I mean,
Or you could call it like a series or something, wellness series, and then have like, each one kind of have a whatever, lifestyle Mondays or whatever, natural solution Tuesdays. So that way it's just kind of reiterates whatever day it is. I don't know.
for me, it would be hard. I'm just being like, for me, it would be hard if the day changed. I mean, I could adapt, but that would be hard for me with my schedule.
It'd
to
be hard for me
switch it throughout the month, the day.
Yeah. I know Ben and Jade have always done their classes on Tuesdays. So I wanted to pick a different day of the week so that if you wanted to take somebody on Tuesdays, there's probably somebody doing a class most every day of the week. And so, but I'm going to make notes here to consider changing the classes to Tuesdays, 7:30 Mountain Daylight Time still.
What times is Jade's class, Mountain Standard Time?
Well, they moved it forward an hour, so it's an hour earlier. So it's 6 o'clock my time, which honestly, I'm still behind the driver's wheel, and it's right between two events. And the likelihood of my getting on there with trying to get two boys to two different places in that hour is unlikely. I'll just be really honest with you. And so I haven't been on there for 3 or 4 weeks now. So they changed it to 6 o'clock p.m. Mountain Daylight Time. So that's 7 o'clock your time, Ellen.
Okay.
Yeah. And they're very good classes. They're very good classes. They alternate between an oil education class and personal development class. So Jade teaches the oil education and Ben does the personal development business oriented class. And they are phenomenal. They're very good. But if we change our classes on Tuesdays, if anybody wants to do both, that's an all-nighter. Because they do have a class back to back from 6 to 7. And then I believe they're still doing a business training from 7 to 8. I'll have to ask Ben. So, all right, let's look forward to this. Okay, moving forward, so this won't go into effect until June. So for the month of May, we're still going to be Wellness Wednesdays. And then we'll talk some more in our leader call the first Monday in May. Okay.
And Debbie, I just wanted to also just mention too, with all of the classes that you've done, and I don't know the technology aspect, and maybe Ben might be a good resource on that, but if there's a way that you could, have an area, either in the Facebook group somehow, or a place that has a link to something else where you can access all of those, but just like it where we have like just a log of all of those classes or categorized or something, so that everyone can utilize all of the amazing classes that have been already done. I think that would be a really awesome thing, because if these don't work with their schedule, right, because if you're going to do it on like a regular Tuesday and Tuesdays don't work for somebody like ever, right, or something, then they still have the ability to learn and have access to those in a way that you're not searching through Facebook, you know what I mean? Because you can go through and look through all the things to see when they've been posted. But if they were somehow in a place where you could just go through and you're like, oh, that's really cool. Like I could say, okay, if you go here, then, and there's a class on pregnancy and birth, and I could just refer them directly to that space. That would be a really cool thing. I'm not sure exactly how it would be done, but utilizing all the awesome classes.
Okay. Our specialty class of the month on the fourth week would be according to doTERRA's, probably relating to doTERRA's themes, monthly themes. Okay. All right, so let's move on. I did have something I wanted to share today. Let me just finish these notes here. Okay, very good. So let me stop share on that, and then I want to share something else here with you. Okay. All right. So again, at our base camp training, this was an emphasis. And this was very good. And I wanted to reiterate a couple of things because I'll be really honest with you. I have not been using the Healthy Can Be Simple guide like this. And so, but each of doTERRA's, now understand that doTERRA has not had all these resources. I said to another couple this week, there's never been a better time to do this business. This was a fun story. I connected with a former birthing client who had a pregnancy loss here a year ago or so and was really, really struggling with that pregnancy loss. And she kind of dropped in and kind of faded into the background and wasn't responding for a long time. Well, I finally caught her the other day. She finally called me back. And when she called me back, I said, how in the heck are you? And she said, I'm holding my 9-week-old baby. And I said, oh my gosh, Terry, I had no idea that you had another baby. And so she told me the journey of this experience. And so then she shared, you know what, well, she actually saw this baby in vision a long time ago and knew she had another baby and that they needed to try to have another baby. And that wasn't even on their plan. But in this vision or dream that she had, she recognized that she would be able to stay home with her babies, and she's always been the breadwinner of the family. And so now she's looking at an opportunity to be the stay-at-home mom again. And so I said, is doTERRA an option? Because she said she used to work doTERRA, and she goes, Debbie, you know how shy I am. You know how hard I worked and what a struggle it was for me. And I said, Cherish, there's never been a better time to do this business than now. We have so many helps available to us. And I would love to come sit down with you and your husband, and I'm doing that Saturday afternoon. I would love to come sit down with you and your husband and walk through what we've got now to help you do this business. And so they were really open to it. Actually, it was really a beautiful conversation. So I'm going to do that. But here's each one of these guides has a job description, a job title. And the Healthy Can Be Simple. On this slide, it's share and invite. And in our base camp training, Justin Harrison said it's to create curiosity. So the job description of the Healthy Can Be Simple guide is to create curiosity. And I will tell you that I have not been using this as well as I could have. And so I wanted to go through that with you today. Then the Live guide is to enroll in LRP. The Share guide is to commit to host a class. The Build guide is to commit to build. The Launch guide is to commit to being elite. And of course, the Natural Solutions handout is the job title is to enroll prospects. Okay. So I want to walk through this Healthy Can Be Simple guide for just a minute. And oh, did I bring that up? I don't know if I brought that up. I may need to bring that up on my computer here. Hang on a second. I had it up last night, but I didn't get it on my desktop. Okay, so if we go into, in fact, I can just do this while sharing. If I go to doTERRA.com and look up under advocates and empowered success, I can pull up all these guides. And I think we've done that enough to where you know how to do that. So let me share this here. So I've always given this out as a little resource, but what they taught us in base camp was really, really helpful. And hopefully you can also see this. When we use this as a creating curiosity, this will do the work for us so that they come to class already having a background, and we can actually spend 30 minutes. And so this is to discover safe. Now, as I scroll through these pages, discover safe, affordable, and effective natural solutions. So when we hand this out to them, we want them to go through this guide, and we want to leaf through it with them in person. We want them to go through this guide and find 2 samples that they want to try. So when they come to class, we have those 2 samples ready, prepared for them. But this guide, this little Healthy Can Be Simple guide, has the 10 most common health concerns and challenges that we deal with on a day-to-day basis. The 10 most common. And so if we leaf through this and just show them what's in here. Look at this first page. It tells us what essential oils are. It tells us kind of where they came from. It tells us their potency. It tells us how to use them, where we harvest them a bit, okay? It's brief, but that's what we want to keep it, and they're not going to remember it all anyway. But this is a really good start that if we utilize this well, they come to class ready to learn more, and we can expand upon it, okay? And not spend so much time talking about the basics, okay? But look at this. Okay. Number one health concern, digestive support. Weight loss, healthy weight. Okay. Exercising and the discomforts that might come with that. Okay, that's part of the same thing. Sleep, managing stress. So there's your sleep and managing stress. Then we have immune support. And so if we utilize this guide really well and leave through it with them, say these are the 10 most common health concerns that people struggle with. Look at this: green cleaning, getting rid of the toxins in our homes. Focus, releasing tension. If we talk to them and leave through this, they're going to already have an understanding of a basic understanding of what we're going to talk about in the class, and this will do half the work for us. So I think this is a really beautiful guide that I've been underusing for certain. Look at the seasonal support. Here we are in the springtime. Now, I don't know what temperature it was in your neck of the woods, but spring has sprung in my neck of the woods, and it's absolutely gorgeous here. Absolutely, positively gorgeous. I love walking and smelling the blossoms. The leaves now. But last night, it was so warm yesterday that we had all kinds of bugs out last night, and I pulled out my Terra Shield to go for a walk last night with my husband. And so already we've got outdoor relief, seasonal support for allergies with the Tri-Ease. So at any rate, we want to ask them to go through this and come back with 2 samples they want to get. Now, do we want to wait for them to arrive at class? We want to have those samples prepared for them when they arrive at class. So we'll be following up with them throughout the week saying, what samples do you want me to bring to class on Tuesday night? So it will keep us going with them. It will make sure they get there. They're doing a little bit of homework. They're doing a little bit of learning. They're actually engaged in the learning process, and it will create curiosity to learn more. And so I think we're underutilizing this. At least Debbie Gordon has been underutilizing this guide for a long time. Okay. Now on the back sheet, Betty Torres, who presented this at base camp, said, write this in by hand. Well, guess what? In my bag yesterday, as I went to do this Natural Solutions one-on-one, in my bag yesterday, I had probably 10 of these in my bag, and all of them had my sticker down here. And she said, write it in by hand. It's more personable. And they're gonna receive it more personable. So there's a suggestion. And then whatever oils they want, we're gonna have that. We're gonna write that in for them on the spot, or when they come to class and we hand them the oil, the sample. Then we're gonna tell them how to use it and what it supports. Okay, and so
I have a question. So do you think providing that sample, is that going to deter enrollment at the time if they say, oh, I'm going to go use this? And
you know what? If you go through this, I don't know that it will deter enrollment, but even if we have not already sampled them, I don't think it will deter enrollment if we utilize it well. But I think they'll come to class to where when we say we're going to when we say my part takes 30 minutes, I think my part's going to take 30 minutes if they've already really looked through this and with creating curiosity. I think we're going to get through there. But also look at this, okay? What if they want like this little mama that I'm going to meet with on Tuesday? What if I leave her with a sample of Clary Calm at the time and her daughter's not on her period right now, right? And so the idea is that will come in handy later on, but she may not get that in her enrollment kit. Now this is geared again towards the Natural Solutions kit. So everything on here pretty much, I don't know if the Purify is in the Natural Solutions kit. I need to check that out. But pretty much all this stuff is in the Natural Solutions kit, right? Serenity, Balance, Aroma Touch, Deep Blue Rub. I don't know if Slim and Sassy is either. So at any rate, I need to go back and look at the Natural Solutions kit again.
yeah, I just taught Natural Solutions class yesterday. There is Serenity in there. There's no Slim and Sassy.
So Slim and Sassy and Purify, I don't think are in there, right?
Nope, I don't think so.
And I don't think the Intune is in there as well. Okay.
Nope. It does have past tense. I know that. And yeah.
So those might be, stuff that they don't get in their Natural Solutions kit that we can actually supplement. So I don't know that it will deter enrollment, but play around with it and see what we get, okay? Because I personally have not been utilizing this as it should be. So just take a moment to leaf through it with them in person and then collect their contact information. 5 minutes spent there is going to save you another 25 minutes probably in the classroom, is my impression. Okay. So anyway, all right. So let's utilize these for what they're meant to be utilized for. Okay. Hopefully that's been helpful. Let me go up here and find my. All right. Well, comments. I'm going to stick around for questions, but that's what I wanted to share today. Let's go forward with the idea that making changes is a good thing, and we're doing it to actually grow our businesses and support one another better. Okay, and so that's what I hope to create here. Any last minute comments, concerns, questions? I'll stay on for as long as you want to. But that's what I have today. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.